Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be looking at the grammar section and the comprehension section of FEG 01 or BEGF 101, which is also called Foundation Course in English. This will be done very fast and my friend will be taking you through these two sections, and we'll also be covering the past 10 attempts question paper with answers. Okay, so let's start with this. My friend will be talking to you now.
Hi guys, so I'm the friend she was talking about. So first we'll cover what comprehension type of questions will be asked. So what comprehension basically is a paragraph will be given out of which questions will be asked. It will also contain synonyms, that is meanings, and antonyms, which is also called opposites, and you will also be asked to frame sentences with words that are inside the paragraph. Next up comes grammar. For grammar questions, you will have do as directed questions. That is, for example, they'll give you a question or a sentence, and they'll ask you to change the sentence into certain forms or to fill in the blanks given in the sentence, etc. That's do as directed. And then there comes correct the sentences. Correct the sentences will have sentences with mistakes in them, say punctuation mistake or tense mistake, etc. You have to change that tense mistake and rewrite the sentences in the correct form without the mistake. And then for do as directed, you'll be asked to fill in the blanks or change the tenses of the sentences, etc. So basically the fill in the blanks will contain fill in the blanks with articles. Articles are stuff that we already know. They are like an, and the. These are the only three articles that are there, and that will be asked. And then there comes tenses. Tenses is basically the time at which a verb takes place. A verb is an action word. So tenses may be in the present, they may be in the past, or they may be in the future. Then comes modals. Modals are words like would, could, should, must, will, might, may, or can. Any of these might come. There are even more, but these are the majority of the words that will be asked. And then comes conjunctions. Conjunctions are small words used to join two sentences. So when you have two sentences that are split by a full stop, you can take out the full stop and instead of the full stop, insert these words here. So the words that are conjunctions are as, and, because, so, hence, since, however, thus, and therefore. Again, there are more conjunctions available, but these are majority of the conjunctions that you will use. And then comes infinitives and non-finites. Infinitives and non-finites are tenses and tenseless verbs. These verbs may have tenses and may not have tenses. For examples of this will be for verbs without tenses, that is non-finites, you will have to play, and for words with tenses, that is infinitives, you will have playing. Then comes phrasal verbs. So what are phrasal verbs? Phrasal verbs are basically two words combined together to make a single verb. These words by themselves may give meaning, but together they give a different meaning. For example, words like give up, take off, put down, turn off, etc. With that said, let's go into the paper. So first we are going to be looking at the June 2015 paper. So again, as I said, we are going to be covering do as directed and correct the sentences in this paper. All the question papers that I am covering today will be available on the description of the video that you can access. But this question papers that you can access wouldn't have the answers written. This paper that I'm showing you right now will have the answers, but the question paper in the descriptions won't have the answers. So make sure to write the answers yourself and try it out yourself once. And make sure to watch the whole video. Okay, let me go to the do as directed of the June 2015 paper. So this is the first do as directed. So these are the kind of questions that will be asked in your paper as well. So let's look at the examples. Question A. In order to know what to do in blank situation like this, you need to look at blank rulebook. Insert appropriate articles. So as I told you, articles are words like a, an, and the. We know that a comes before a word that is not a vowel. Vowels are the letters A, E, I, O, and U. In this situation, we have in blank situation. Situation starts with the letter S, which is not a vowel. So it's not an. And in this case, since a situation is not a specific situation, we don't know what the situation is, we are going to use the word a. Why do we use the word is because we don't know what specific situation a person is or caught in. Next, in order to know what to do in a situation like this, you need to look at blank rule book. So here we are using the because first case and will definitely not come because it starts with the letter R, which is not a vowel. So the only thing we are left with are and the. But in this case, we are using the because we have to look at a specific rule book. So words that are specific, the is used, and words that are not specific, and an is used, depending on whether the next word starts with a vowel or a consonant. So this sentence will be read as follows. In order to know what to do in a situation like this, you need to look at the rule book. Let's go to the next one. Question B. By the time the authorities blank action, the problem would blank out of proportion. Use correct form of verbs. So verbs are given in the brackets. You have to use the correct form of the verb. The correct form may be take, taking, took, or grow, grew, growing, to grow, might not grow, some stuff like that. So basically to convert in the tenses. In this case, we are looking at a sentence that goes like this. By the time the authorities take action, the problem would grow out of proportion. So these are the right tenses to use, because take would be future tense. So since we are talking about by the time indicates that something will happen in the future. So we are using the word take. Then comes the problem would. Would is also a word we'll use in the future. So instead of will grow, or we can also use will grow. But since would is already provided here, we are using the word grow. Now let's go to question C. We'll be going over all this a bit fast because there's a lot of papers to cover. So I hope you can catch up. Your qualification, but all of this is pretty easy. So you need not worry that I'm going fast. You'll understand just as well. Your qualifications do not match our requirements. Blank, you have no experience as a manager. Blank, I am going to give you a chance as you have good communication skills. Insert appropriate linkers. Linkers are basically, again, as I told you, conjunctions. These conjunctions may be in place of a full stop or may even come after a full stop. In this case, they're coming after a full stop. Let's look at what it will be. Your qualifications do not match our requirements because you have no experience as a manager. Why are we using because? It's because it's indicating a cause of the action. That is why an action is happening. So because. Then comes dash, I am going to give you a chance as you have good communication skills. So he was saying that he's not going to give him a chance, that the qualifications do not match him, which is a negative thing, but he's anyways going to give him a chance. That's why you are using the word however. Next up, question D, it will have, let's take the metro. It blank take much less time to reach the station. We blank still be able to catch our train. Insert suitable modals. Modals, as I told you, are should, would, and could. Will, may, and may not. Some words like that. Just give me a second. Excuse me. So, in this case, we have let's take the metro. It blank take much less time to reach the station. Blank take much less time. They're going to go to the station, which is a future tense. So the word that will come here will be will. Next, we have we blank still be able to catch our train. We should still be able to catch our train. This is also pretty self-explanatory. Next up, question E. Regular exercise and a balanced diet is the best way to keep diseases at bay. Everyone believes this. Combine into one sentence beginning with it is. So, combining with one sentence, what does that indicate? That indicates that a conjunction has to be used. And since they're asking, so there's a full stop right here that you can't see because there's a bracket over here. There should be a full stop right here in the question. So what they're asking us to do is basically remove the full stop, and in place of the full stop, as I told you, we use the word conjunctions. Conjunctions may be however, because, so, hence, etc. that I showed in the Word document. And in this case, they also have another condition along with the conjunction condition, which is that this sentence that you're rewriting should begin with the words it is. So let's try and put the word it is in the beginning of the sentence. So when you put it is, we'll go as follows. It is believed that. So I'll repeat, it is believed that regular exercise and a balanced diet is the best way to keep diseases at bay. Full stop. Everyone believes this. So since we are using conjunctions over here, it will go as follows. It is believed that regular exercise and a balanced diet is the best way to keep diseases at bay. So since this sentence begins with it is, A conjunction need not be used in this case, but in every other case a conjunction needs to be used. So next we have correct the just give me a second, guys. Yeah. So next we have correct the following sentences. Question A. They rushed her to the doctor's clinic where they made her to drink some juice to gain some energy. Sorry. So in this case, they made her to drink is a wrong word. It's a wrong grammar sentence. So the two should not come here. They made her drink will be the right one. So this is basic grammar knowledge, and this only comes with experience. Next, we have question B. Ask him why hasn't he paid his room rent yet. This is again not proper grammar, and the sentence hasn't he will be switched to he hasn't. This is because this is a question that's being asked. So I'm sorry, guys. This is basically actually a question that's not being asked. If a question is being asked, then hasn't he will be the right word. But this is not a question. This is a statement that's being made. So hasn't he will be changed to he hasn't. Next up, question C. When they reached their village after the earthquake, they found their houses destroying. So houses can't destroy because they are objects, and objects can't do actions. So what the actual sentence might mean is that the houses were destroyed. So instead of the word destroying, we are putting destroyed here, which will make the sentence, when they reached their village after the earthquake, they found their houses destroyed. Next, we'll go to question D. When I tickled the baby under its chin, it responded by a smile. So responded by a smile might sound right, but it's actually not a right sentence. It can everybody can respond only with something, not by something. So instead of responded by a smile, we'll change the sentence to responded with a smile. Next question, question E. In our last survey of school, lack of basic facilities was noticed. As I explained in the articles part, the, and a come when we are describing a noun. And in this case, we are talking about a specific school. And when there is a specific noun that's being mentioned, instead of the word a and, the word the will come. So in this case, we are inserting the word the between of and school. So this paper is over, guys. Let's go to the next year's paper. This is the next year paper. We are going to be going a bit faster than before because I explained the basic concepts already, and it's a lot of papers to cover anyway, so I don't want the video to take a lot of time. Do as directed part 2. Question A. It is important to work hard and show commitment. Convert into an interrogative form of sentence. An interrogative sentence is basically a question sentence. This is a statement that's being made. We have to convert a statement to a question. So in the case of it will be changed to is it. So the question will be, is it important to work hard and show commitment? And in this case, guys, when you're writing a question, it's always important that you remove the full stop, and in place of the full stop, you put a question mark. If you put a full stop there again, it's not even considered a question, and they might cut marks for it, even though your sentence formation is right. So keep in mind, when there's an interrogative sentence, you have to put a question mark at that. Question B. If blank student is interested in becoming a leader, he should identify blank qualities of some well-known leaders. Insert appropriate article in each blank. Articles are a, and the that I covered already. So in this case, it will be if a student is interested in becoming a leader. That's because student is not a specific term. It's a non-specific term. It can be any student. And then goes, he should identify blank qualities of some well-known leaders. There are specific qualities being mentioned here. So instead of a and, it will be the. Next, C. Breeding aims at blank in brackets increase the yield of animals and blank in brackets improve the desirable qualities of the produce. Fill in the blanks with correct verb forms. As I told you, verb forms may be different tenses of the verbs provided already. So it may be to increase, increasing, or increased, or will increase, or to improve, improving, will improve, etc. In this case, breeding aims at increasing the yield of animals and improving the desirable qualities of produce will be the right form. So breeding aims at is basically a present tense sentence. So in the blank, there should always also be present, not past or future. So it will not be will increase or increased. So present will always go with present, guys. So in this case, you are using the word increasing, which is the present form of the sentence, and also improving, which is also the present. Next question D. I can never remember birthdays. I always have to look them up. Guys, just give me a second. Question D. I can never remember birthdays. I always blank look them up. You blank note them in your diary. Fill in the blanks with must or have to. So it can either be must or have to. In this case, I can never remember birthdays. I always have to look them up. Have to look them up. So must will come only when there is a condition that has to be obeyed, that is like it's compulsory to be obeyed. In this case, looking birthdays up is not a compulsory verb that you have to do, so it will be have to. And then you blank note them in your diary. You blank note them in your diary is a condition that a person has to do. It's a compulsory condition. So instead of have to, it will be must. Question E. I had to return early. There was no one at home to receive the guests. Combine the two sentences using an appropriate conjunction. Conjunction are words like as, because, however, hence, etc. So I had to return early, and in place of the full stop, we are inserting the words because there was no one at home to receive the guests. Next, correct the following sentences. A. You are going out when. So this is not the right. This is not the right word, because whenever there's a question term like the WH words that are when, what, where, etc., the word will come in the front of the sentence. So it will be when are you going out. Next up, question B. There is another way for meet this situation. So for meet is again bad grammar. So instead of for meet, it will be to meet. Next up, question C. The watchman run into the room with a pale face. So watchman run into the room with the pale face. The tenses do not go together correctly. So it will be instead of run, ran, which is past tense. Past tense, sorry. Next, question D. The fact that she is not upset at the arrangement shows her tolerance. So this is a big argument that everybody gets confused with. But whenever there is angry or upset, it will not be angry at or upset at. It will be upset with or angry with. So this is something that you have to know, because it comes around a lot in these papers. Next, question E. This method is useful for a means to increase productivity. So for a means is basically a method. So you can't use a method for a method. So you can only use a method as a method. So instead of for, as will come. Okay. We'll go to the next paper. Guys, just give me a second. I have to change it to do as directed. Okay, so I'm going to the previous. We are in paper 3 now. Okay, this is the right paper. Question A. Mukesh has cooked tasty food today, said Shweta. Change to indirect speech. So, what is direct and indirect speech? In direct speech is basically speech sentences that are in the form like this. That is, these sentences have quotes within them. So, what is direct speech? So, someone said something to you, and you want to tell someone else that someone said something to you. Say Ram, Shyam, and Geeta are there. Shyam said something to Ram, and Ram wants to tell to Geeta that Shyam said something to him. Or let's take this case. A said something to B, and B wants to say to C that A said something to B. This is kind of confusing, but bear with me. So B will say to C that A said so and so to me. So when you say so and so, this so and so will come within quotes. Say A ate good food today, and A goes to B and says, B, I ate very good food today. Now B wants to tell C that A ate very good food today. B will say to C, A told me I ate very good food today. So this I ate very good food today will come within quotes. So what is indirect speech? Indirect speech is basically conversion of this quote sentence into a sentence without quotes. So in this case we have Mukesh has cooked very tasty food today, said Shweta. Change into indirect speech. We are removing the quotes. So it will go, Shweta said to Mukesh. Shweta said that Mukesh had cooked tasty food today. So every time we are changing a direct speech into an indirect speech, the present will become the past. Next, the doctor examined the patient. Change the voice. So there are two types of voices, active voice and passive voice. We know that sentences are always made in this form, subject, verb, and object. Subject is someone that does the verb, and object is the object that the verb's been done, the verb is being done to. So I ate the chocolate. That's a sample sentence where I am the one who's eating. So I'm the one who's doing the action. So I am the subject. And I'm eating the chocolate. So what am I doing? I'm eating the chocolate. What is eating? An action. And what is that action being done to? The chocolate. So the chocolate will be the object. I is the subject. Eating is the verb. Chocolate is the object. In this case, the doctor examined the patient. The doctor who's examining the patient, he's doing the action. So the doctor is the subject. Examined, that's the verb, and patient, that's the object. So what is active and passive voice? Active voice is when the subject comes first, the verb comes next, and the object comes last. But passive voice is when the object comes first, then the verb, then the subject. So this will be the object, that is the patient, that will come first. The patient, the verb that will come next, was examined, then the subject by the doctor. So the sentence will be the patient was examined by the doctor, which is passive voice of the active voice sentence provided here. So next, question C. As soon as I reached the school gate, the bell rang. So, and they're asking us to rewrite the sentence using the word no sooner. So this is kind of hard because this requires some basic knowledge of complex sentences. So this will be no sooner did I reach the school gate, the bell rang. So these sort of sentences will only come to you when you look at more examples. So let's go to the next question. That's it. D. Ishan is arriving blank Chicago tomorrow blank 2 o'clock. Use appropriate prepositions. Prepositions are verbs that are words that are used to indicate position or time. So position or time may be through, for, not for, sorry, through, from, at, on, in, etc. I'm on the house. So on the house is not a right sentence unless you're sitting on top of the house. So or you can say the remote is on the table. So the remote is lying on top of the table, right? So that word on, that will be the preposition, and I am in the house. You are inside the house, right? So I am in the house will be the right form of preposition, and I will be there tomorrow at 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock indicates time. So with that said, let's go into the sentence. Ishan is arriving blank Chicago. So he's arriving to Chicago or from Chicago may be the right sentence. So since let's take that Ishan is coming from Chicago to India. He's in Chicago, he has to come to India. So he's coming from Chicago to India will be the right form of the preposition. At 2 o'clock will be the right form of the preposition as well because it's indicating time. Time indicators are always at. Next, I have blank account in blank State Bank of India. Use appropriate articles. I have explained articles already, so I'm going with the answer. I have an account since vowel. So an in blank State Bank of India. In the State Bank of India because it's a specific verb. Next, correct the following sentences again. Animals had tails for several different reasons. So why is this wrong? Animals had tails is not is wrong because it's past tense. Animals do have tails, right? They have tails now. They had tails before. They will have tails in the future. We can't say that for sure. So animals have tails now. So had can't be the right word. Had will indicate that they don't have tails now. They used to have tails, but they don't have it now. But they do have it, right? So the had will not come. So it will be animals have tails for different reasons. So question B is also related to question A. The tails serves them as fly swat or rudder and even to defend themselves. So whenever you are using a plural of a verb, so tail or tails is singular, tails is plural. Whenever you are using a plural of a verb, it will not be serves. It will not end with s. It will end without s. So it will be serve. Tails serve. But when you are not using a plural, when you are using a singular, it will end with s. The tail serves. So it will tails serve or tail serves. The tails serve them as a fly swat, a rudder, and even to defend themselves. Question C. Crocodiles use their tails to protect themselves. Their is not the right form because it indicates position, whereas their indicates belonging. So they are using their tails, their tails that belong to them. So they're using the word their to protect themselves. D. Monkeys at time use their long tails to wind around branches to climb up and down trees. At time is not the right word because they use it multiple times, so it will be at times. A hippopotamus use its tail in a very interesting way. Again, as I told you, when singular, it will be uses, and when it's plural, it will be use. So a hippopotamus uses. Sorry, I'm extremely sorry. A hippopotamus uses is the right word. So if it was hippopotamuses, that is plural, then it will be use. But since it's singular, it will be uses. Next up, next paper. This is paper. This is the next paper. Paper 4, I think. Paper 4. So this is do as directed. Ishan is going to school from tomorrow. Is going to school from tomorrow, said Ashok. I have explained direct and indirect speech to you already, so we'll just go into the sentence. Ashok said that Ishan is going to school from the next day. So, as I told you, when we are using the indirect speech, there will be no quotes. And one important thing I have to mention to you is whenever there is tomorrow in the sentence, whenever there is tomorrow within quotes, the tomorrow will become the next day. Whenever there is the day before in the whenever there is yesterday in the sentence, it will become the previous day. So in this case, it will go. Ashok said that Ishan is going to school from the next day. So from tomorrow will become from the next day. Whenever you have tomorrow, you have to convert it to the next day. Keep that in mind, guys. Question B. Utensils are cleaned by Rajvati. Change the voice. This is in passive voice where the object is coming first and then the subject. So you have to change it to active voice, which will go. Will put the subject first. So it will be Rajvati cleans the utensils. He hired a taxi. He was getting late. Combine the two sentences using appropriate linker. Linker is also known as conjunction. In this case, as he was getting late will be the correct one, or because he was getting late can also come. Some people believe that Holi gets its name blank Holika, who was the sister blank the demon king Hiranyakashipu. Prepositions can also be from or of. So in this case, it gets its name from Holika, who was the sister of the demon king Hiranyakashipu. Holi is blank, very old Indian festival celebrated on full moon day in blank month of March. Appropriate articles and at the. Holi is a very old Indian festival celebrated on full moon day in the month of March. So that's done. We'll go to correct the following sentences in this paper. So correct the following sentences. I prefer tea than coffee. So that whenever you have prefer, it will be prefer X to Y, not prefer X than Y. So whenever you have prefer, it will be to. So I prefer tea to coffee. Then B. Pooja is not knowing when her exams are commencing. Is not knowing is not correct grammar. Instead of is not knowing, it will be does not know. Then C. Neither my father nor my mother were present at the party. So when neither and nor or either and or comes, it will be was and not were because we are using a singular form of a sentence. Next, police has not caught the thief as no. Guys, I'm really sorry about the correction that I have to make here. So this is actually not the right sentence. I'll come back to you with the corrections made. Hi guys, I'm back. So in this case, this was just a question there. There was actually a correction that has to be made in the answers that I have provided. I'm really sorry about that. So this was the question. Police has not caught the thief as now. So this is wrong because as now is not correct grammar. So it will change to police has not caught the thief as of now. This is correct the sentences if you are coming in new. So this is the right word. Let's go to the next sentence. Yeah. So, question E. If you will not pay the money, the contract will be cancelled. If you will not pay the money is not right grammar again. It will be if you would not pay the money. So the would not can be shortened to would. Let's go to the next paper. The book of poems do as directed again. So, question A. The book of poems is lying on the table. It was written by the famous poet William Blake. Combine the sentences using the word which. So when you're combining the sentences using some word, the sentence formation itself might change. So in this case, the book of poems, which was written by the famous poet William Blake, is lying on the table. So which was is the conjunction. Next, I reached the market. I came to know that it blank close. Write the correct verb form. So close will become it was closed. So close will become it was closed. Next. C. Scientists say that several earthquakes occur in Delhi every year. Rewrite as an interrogative sentence, which is a question sentence. So it will become, do scientists say that several earthquakes occur in Delhi every year? Question mark. Question mark is again really important in an interrogative sentence, guys. Don't forget it. My book will be published in 2018 by ABC Publishers. So this is in passive voice. So you have to change to active voice. This is passive voice because book is coming first and ABC Publishers is coming next. ABC Publishers is a subject. So you have to put the subject first. So it will go ABC Publishers will publish my book in 2018. Next. Do not forget to carry your umbrella. It is raining heavily. said mother to Anjali. Rewrite using indirect speech. This has quotes. We have to remove the quotes, so it will go mother advised Anjali. So in this case, it will not be mother said to Anjali because it can also be mother said to Anjali, but a better form would be mother advised Anjali to carry her umbrella as it was raining heavily. Next, Harsh ran to his friends. He told them he had won a prize for his hard work. Join using conjunction. We are removing the full stop here. Harsh ran to his friends and told them he had won a prize for his hard work. Next, correct the sentences. I wants to go to my friend's house. We are correcting the sentence, so it will go I want to go to my friend's house. So in this case, guys, I'm really sorry again. I had made a mistake. I'll come back to you after correcting the mistake that I have made. So this is the correction that has to be made to the sentence. This was the wrong sentence. I wants to go to my friend's house, to my friend's house. This is wrong because I wants is not right grammar. It will be I want, and then friend house is not right sentence again. It's not. It's not friend house. It's your friend's house. You're going to someone. You're going to your friend's house. He owns the house, so it will not be friend house. It will be friend's house. I'm sorry for the mistakes that are being made here, guys. I'll be anytime I notice a mistake, I'll make sure to correct it and show you the right version. Next up, B. Do you remembers the day you got your result? You remembers is again not right verbs, so it'll be you remember. Question C. All of us should learn to becoming independent thinkers. Learn to becoming is not again the right grammar. It will be learn to become or learn to be independent thinkers. That will be right verb version. Next, Sunita told her friend that she was feeling restless after heavy meals. So I'm sorry guys, I read the answer. She feeling restless after a heavy meals. So first, she feeling is not right because she was feeling or she will be feeling or she would be feeling will be right. But in this case, since you're talking about past tense, it will be was feeling restless after a heavy meals. A will only come to indicate singular version of nouns, so it will be a heavy meal. A heavy meal. Next question E. So guys, this is the last paper I'll be covering. After this, I'll show you the rest of the papers only. I will not be explaining the answers. This video is getting a bit too long, and every other question is of the same form only. So don't worry, it will be easy for you. Each speaker was allowing 5 minutes to speak, after which other speakers was allowed to ask questions. Each speaker was comes, so allowing will not come because was is past will go with past, so allowing will become allowed. 5 minutes to speak, after which other speakers was. So speakers is plural, so was will not come, was only comes to indicate singular, so was will become were. So that's it guys, this paper is done. After this, I'm only going to be scrolling through every single paper. I'm not going to be telling you the answer for the paper. The answers are though provided here, and but I would recommend that you go to the description and try to solve them yourself, because every example has been covered over here. You can use that knowledge to cover it. So with that's it guys, we'll go into the other papers. You can pause at any moment that you want to look at the answers if you have doubts. So that's it guys, we are back to the first paper now. So this was me covering the grammar part of the BEFG paper. Thank you so much for watching the video guys. Take care.
Okay, guys, I hope you understood everything in this video. All the best for your exam. Bye.